Hello everyone, it's Patty from PK's Possibilities, and I'm going to teach you today how to make a large cruffle wreath with deco mesh and ribbon. So let's get started. You won't see me excuse me while I move my chair. You won't see me, but you will see my hands and how I put all this together. So first of all, your supplies. You're going to need some type of mat to cut your deco mesh on. If you don't have a mat, you can do it like on cardboard. It probably won't cut as well, but you don't want to do it on a surface that's going to get scratched. This is an 18-inch wire wreath form. I got it from Amazon. You can make them any size that you want to, but I like the big fluffy ones, so we're going to make a big one. And this is 18 inches. You'll need 2 rolls of deco mesh. We're making St. Patrick's Day, and I like a little bit of contrast. You can make them different colors or the same ones, but you'll need 2 full rolls. I get a lot of my deco mesh from Craft Outlet, which is an online craft store, and you can see the difference in the rolls. The one that I got from Craft Outlet is a thicker roll, but these are 10 inches, 10 yards a piece. You'll cut them with a rotary cutter. This rotary cutter I got from Deco Exchange, which is also an online craft store, and this cutter is the bomb. The blade stays sharp forever. You can cut like 3 rolls at a time, and it just lasts forever. So this is what I'll use to cut the mesh. You'll need around 40 pipe cleaners, a pair of scissors, and I also got these from Deco Exchange. They stay sharp forever also. You need some type of glue, super glue. This is called DAP. You can get it on Amazon if you don't already have some. And some little cable ties. These cable ties come in huge amounts. You can get them at Walmart or order them online, but you'll need at least 4. You need some type of clip. This is just a little clip for like chip bags that are open, and several rolls of ribbon. We'll talk about the ribbon when we get to the point of cutting it. I'll be using 6 rolls of ribbon, and I won't use the whole roll. And if you want, I usually put some kind of sign on my wreath. I got this one, I think, from Amazon, but you can find them just about anywhere. The dollar store, you can find them online just about anywhere. And then I'm going to put, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to put some little embellishments on there. I've got some coins and some shamrocks, shiny shamrocks. And I will be using a little bit of hot glue. So what we're going to start with is cutting the deco mesh. And I'm only going to cut 1 piece because it's a little bit time consuming, but I know you don't want to sit through all of that. So each piece of deco mesh, and you're going to use the whole roll, whole 2 rolls should be about 18 inches long. So that would be from this line here to the 18 over here. This one isn't cut straight, so I'm gonna cut it straight with the rotary cutter. Then I'll take it from that point here, move it to the 18 inches. Try to keep it in line. You don't want a big slanted piece of deco mesh to deal with when you're making your cruffles. Alright, I'm going to finish cutting my deco mesh, and then I'll get right back with you. Maybe if I can find how to turn this off. Okay, I have finished cutting all my pieces of deco mesh. Now on the sign, even though it's one of the last things we'll do, you want to put these anchors on it, and because you're using glue, you need to give it plenty of time to dry. So what I noticed is this sign already has 2 holes on it that I can use to put my pipe cleaners through, but I'm going to put one of these in the bottom corners. And that'll take a little while to dry. I also used a tiny bit of hot glue around the edges just to make sure it's secure. And then I'll just set it aside for later. So the next thing we'll do is put our pipe cleaner twists on the wreath form. Some of these come with the second and third rings a little bit raised, so you want to do your pipe cleaners on the raised side so that that part will stick up. And here's how we do the pipe cleaners. They're going to have fairly even ends when they're finished. So you're going to thread on the outside edge. You're going to thread so that your ends are about even through 2 wires, the last one and the one next to it, or you could say the 3rd and the 4th wire. Cross them, twist them, and twist them 4 times tightly. Then you'll zigzag the next stem, pipe cleaner stem, goes on the 2nd and 3rd row, as you can see. Again, you'll twist it 4 times. So that you'll end up with one here on the crossbar, another one here, another one center on the outside edge, another one here, and then another one on the other crossbar. So each section between the two crossbars will end up with 4 pipe cleaner stems. And I'm sorry, this green doesn't show up very well because it's on green. So maybe if I turn my mat over, you can see it better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I try to make the pipe cleaners as much as possible match the wreath deco mesh so that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb when it's finished. All right, so there's one section all together. You're going to end up with 19 of the pipe cleaner twists on the outside row and 18 on the inside row. I'm going to finish this and put this on hold for a second, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to put my last pipe cleaner stem on. And as you can see, it's pretty loaded. Some people buy these with the pipe cleaner stems, or they also call chenille stems, already on them. They don't have as many as this, but I put a lot of these on here because I want the deco mesh to be thick and to last a long time. So the next step is to make the cruffle and attach it. You may notice I picked a different color. I had a light green contrast color, and I opened it up and it had little holes all over the place. So I chose to go with white instead. You can also do the same color all the way through, but I didn't have another roll handy. The reason this is called a cruffle is because there are 2 techniques for doing deco mesh. There's more than 2, but these 2, this is called a roll. And as you can see, the ends are just rolled. A ruffle, you just gather together from the center and pinch it in the middle and end up with somewhat of a ruffle. But this is called a cruffle because it's rolled partially and ruffled partially. Now the biggest problem with deco mesh is it ravels. So to keep that at a minimum, you're going to take your cut end of your piece of deco mesh, you're going to fold in the sides before you start rolling. Roll it very tight because it'll open up. So I would say roll 4 or 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then clip it in the middle so you can do the other side. Again, fold over the ends. roll it tightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to ruffle it. You just take it and start pleating in the very center. And that's a cruffle. Now to place them on the wreath, we're starting with the outside edge. You're going to place the outside edge in a vertical row. Take your pipe cleaner stem, wrap it around the center of the cruffle as tightly as you can, and then twist it 4 times. Notice the number 4 comes up here a lot. Okay, now you're going to skip this one. These you'll do after you do the entire outside row. So I'm alternating green and white. Doing the same thing. You don't have to weigh down the other side. I'm just doing that so you can see better. But again, you're going to fold under, roll it tight, clip it, and then do the other side. Okay, you're going to ruffle it. And when I place them on the frame, I like to alternate. This one is facing up. This one is facing down. You don't have to do that, but I do that just to create a little bit more variety. When it's all over, you'll see. Okay, I'm going to go all the way around the outside, and then I'll do the inside. Remember that your cruffles are vertical all the way around the outside rim. All right, we've got our outside row done with all the vertical cruffles. I decided to double up on the green to white because I was concerned that the white would overpower the whole thing. So now we're going to use the same pattern to make the inside ring. So, same as the other method. You're gonna fold in, roll tight, clip, and do the other end. Okay, there's your rolls. Now your ruffle. And I'm going to do these the same way. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And don't worry if these are not perfectly spaced apart, because by the time you're finished, they're going to be pushed together so much that it'll all fill in. So these you're going to do horizontally. this is on the inside row. Pull it as tight as you possibly can, and then twist 4 times. I'm going to put a white over here. I'll continue around with the green on this side, but I'm going to put a white over here just to show you the contrast. Once again, turn your corners in, roll tight, clip, and do the other side. Pinch them in the middle, and this is the last one I did. Notice it's horizontal. This one will be horizontal too, but they kind of overlap each other, so that's okay. That's not a problem. You're just going to turn them as much to the side as you can to fill all your surface in. Tight wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to finish up with this off camera, and when I come back, we'll be ready to start with the ribbon tails. So here is the wreath form with all of the cruffles attached. As you can see, they're all kind of scrunched together and pretty evenly, the white and the green. So I'm going to put that aside for the moment because we're ready to make the ribbon tails. And the way I picked the ribbon was by looking at the sign. The sign has some Kelly green, as you can see, but it also has a little bit of lighter green, and it has some kind of a houndstooth, not a houndstooth, buffalo check, green and black. So what I picked, I'm going to have 2 different clusters, ribbon tail clusters, and I've included all of those colors. And you want to be sure when you pick your ribbons that you pick different patterns. You don't want like 2 plaids together or 2 polka dots together or whatever. And I'm picking 3. You can also make them in groups of 2. You just put them a little bit closer together. And I have the 2.5 inch ribbon here. This one is 2.5 inches, and this one is 1.5. I would not put, you can do any combination, but I would not put 3 2.5 of the wider ones because they're kind of hard to push together. That's my first grouping, and my second grouping, I've got stripes, checks of both colors of green, and then I've got the lighter green, just a solid color. That means that I will make 6 of each ribbon tail, because I want a total of 12 altogether. So I've got 2 different groupings. I'll make 6 of each one. This is a device that I bought on Deco Exchange that I use to loop my ribbon around, but you can also use just a sturdy piece of cardboard as you can see, I like this because it has 14 inches, 13 inches. And then I have another one that's even smaller, so that if you're making smaller wreaths. But the easy way to do this is you put the end of the ribbon up here, and then you just loop it around. Easy for me to say. Then you just loop it around 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I don't have enough. Well, that kind of takes care of that, but I think I'll still use it. I'll use 3 of this one, because I still like that, just that little bit of paler green. Then I've got another one that's also similar, but one color of green, and the same width. So I'll use 3 of this one and 3 of the other one. When you get your loops, you want to cut them on the ends. Like I said, I love these scissors because they last forever. And you can also go through several rows of fabric with them. Oh, there goes the wire. Now I like to dovetail the ends of my ribbons. And the way that you do that is you fold it in half lengthwise, like this. And then you cut from the folded part diagonally up to the raw edge. So, like this. And then you come out with a nice dovetail. Do that with this end. And then I'll do 3 of these. I'm just going to alternate the plaids. When it's all done, you're not going to be able to tell the difference, actually. 1, 2, lost it. Any other time I would be whipping this out in about 2 seconds, but because I'm trying to video it, you know. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't even cut my ends. I just fold them all together like that. But if you feel more comfortable cutting it, then that's okay. I'm going to dovetail this. And this. Okay. Now, if you don't have any kind of device like this, remember these go together. If you don't have any kind of device like this, you don't have a strong piece of cardboard or whatever, you can just measure out your ribbon on some type of measuring device. And I don't know if I made it clear, but for this size, you want to have 14-inch ribbon tails. So, and they don't have to be exact. So I'm just measuring it out on this cutting board. I don't know if I can get all 6 of them. We'll see. There's 3, 4, So there's 6. Trying to make the ends as even as I can. So I can dovetail them together. See what I mean about these scissors? I'm going through 6 layers of fairly thick ribbon. It's kind of a canvasy kind of fabric, and it's not real thin. And honestly, you want fairly thick ribbon because the thin just won't bend and do what you want it to do. Okay, so there's another set of my 3, and then the last one is going to be a 1.5, and I'm going to do that one on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one I may divide up. This is really thick ribbon. Let me just do a few at a time on this one. Now remember, when you dovetail, you're going to start at the fold and go up to the raw edge. Because I've done it the other way many, many times, and you end up with an arrow instead of a dovetail. This one has a little bit, it's kind of stiff. It has a little bit of sparkle to it. That's another thing. You want to be sure that this is a little sparkly, but not real sparkly, that your ribbons are compatible. You don't want to put a bunch, you know, like a real satiny, sparkly one next to a dull burlap one. Okay, so remember, I'm also going to make my clusters out of these other 3, but and I'll alternate them on the wreath. So for expediency's sake, I'm going to show you how to put these together. This is handy because you've got crisscross here. You want to take the center of the ribbon and have it right in the middle. And if you're not real sure where the center is, you can fold them over to see where the ends meet. Okay, then I'm going to take this one and crisscross it in the middle. Okay, there's the center right there. And if you get one a little longer than the other, you know, the world's not going to come to an end. I'm going to try this one here. And this I'm going to crisscross this way. Try to make them as even on the ends, the tails that are coming out, as you can. And the trick to this is pinching it together and keeping it kind of spread out. I have also, just when I've had a lot of time, pinched all of this together and put a tiny zip tie around it, just to make it a lot easier for me when I'll do them all at one time, and then it makes it a little bit easier for me. Okay, so you see that it's going out in kind of a star shape. So what I'm going to do is randomly pick one of my pipe cleaner twists. I'm going to put the two ends through that middle, tie it, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want to fan all of your sections out. The way to keep the section perky is you just pull it up through your fingers like that. And I'm not too worried about that right now because I'm going to put some accessories on here, and I'll be going around and kind of messing with it anyway. Now, you've got two of your pipe cleaner tails sticking up there in the middle, as you can see. Some people like to cut them off. That's what I usually do. Some people just poke them back down through the mesh because you're probably not going to see it. Some people just leave them. These are kind of sparkly. The chenille ones that are, I don't think you'd want those to be seen. But as you can see, you've got kind of a star shape. Now, you will go 3 sections to put your next ribbon cluster on. So, as you can see, this one is attached to this section, so I'm going to skip 1, 2, and I'm going to put it on the third one. So the next one will go on this, every third cruffle. All right. So I'm going to finish making my ribbon tails and putting them on. I should have, and they will overlap a little bit. That's not a problem. But I should have, by the time I get all the way around, I should have 12. And they'll cover a good deal of the deco mesh, as you can see. I'm out of the picture, so you can see it up close. All right. Okay, so I'm going to make the rest of my ribbon tails and put them on, and you can see kind of what it's going to look like. A lot of people just do that. They don't put a sign on. They, may put a few little accessories on or whatever. They're perfectly happy with that, and that is not a problem. All right, so I've got this section of 3. Like I said, if you want to make your ribbon tail clusters ahead of time and put a little zip tie around them, you can. Whatever you feel more comfortable with. So I'm going to make these, put them on, and I will return after I've done that. Okay, here is the wreath with the ribbon tails on it. To keep them from being all in a straight line, I take 2 at a time and just kind of move them in opposite directions, just so you'll get a little more coverage. spread them out. And I'll do more of this too after the sign goes on. Okay, now it's time to put the sign on. First I need to decide where I want to put it. I like it kind of in the middle, but you can also put them over to the side, you know, wherever you like. I kind of like it in the middle. So, I got some white pipe cleaners because you can see them better when I'm attaching it. Remember, this side has a hole, so you just put the end of the pipe cleaner on the, through the hole. You do the usual 4 twists. This is what you're going to attach it to the form with. Now, it is going to show on the other side where the holes are. It won't show where the cable ties are, but that's okay because you can place a little piece of ribbon over it or something like that. Now, you're going to take these pipe cleaners and put them through the center of the wreath. You see, I'm keeping it about like that. And when I'm done, you'll take, you know, your ribbon edges and you'll kind of fluff them around. But here's the tricky part, is getting it even. So you flip it over. And you'll take your pipe cleaners as much as you can through here. I try to extend it all the way to the top, or to the outer edge, and make a little loop here. That's just preliminary because I want to make sure that it's centered and even, not one end falling in and another one not. But once I'm happy with it, I'll tighten all of these up. See, I've kind of placed them placed them out, spaced kind of the same, kind of evenly, but I can already see that that side is going to go this way, so I'm going to move my sign a little bit that way. You don't want to loop this too many times because you may be having to undo it and redo it again. Okay, so I'm going to tip it over and see if I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. I'm going to take all of these tails and kind of fluff them out over the edge. Not too far. I'm going to cover up that. Now, when you're doing your ribbon tails, some people do them in groups of 2 and arrow them out all the way toward the outer edges so that they're all facing out. That's okay. You can do, do it any way you want to. That's the cool thing about the ribbon, is you can use your imagination. Now, I am going to put, this is plenty, but I'm going to put some hot glue, some little coins and shamrocks on. I have to get my hot glue going. I got these from Amazon. These were cheap, obviously. But I think I'm going to put the coins in the little ribbon indentations. And I'm just going to glue them. This is another thing about these scissors. Fabric scissors, if you cut with them, they will no longer work on fabric. But those scissors, you can cut other things too, paper and plastic and so on. So I'm going to use the gold coins for contrast. And then the little shamrocks, I think I'm just going to kind of glue randomly on some of the ribbon tails. You can see they're made out of a fabric that is shiny. Well, actually, that's kind of puffy plastic that's shiny on one side and kind of satiny on the other side. So, remember I have these pot cleaners sticking up. Let's see where you can see this well. And I think I may just maybe keep one of them and curl it up a little bit and glue my coin to that so it kind of sticks out. The other one I'll cut. And I think I'm going to put a coin on each of these. If I don't like it, I can always change it later. So I'm going to put a glob of glue there where I've made that little coil. The glue's not good and hot. And I'm going to stick a coin on there. See how it kind of sticks out, kind of bounces around a little bit. But, I mean, you can put them anywhere you want to put them, or you can not put them at all. Okay, once again, I'm going to loop this around a little bit. Cut the other one off. Put a little bit of glue on there. And pop a coin on there. See how it bounces? Isn't that cute? The little shamrocks, I think I'll put them on pieces of ribbon where they're going to show up. Like this green. And again, I'm not going to be real careful with it. I'm just going to put a little glob of glue on there. And then I'll just kind of space them around all over. How cute is that going to be? I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the ribbon. If you get ribbon that is thin and doesn't have a real strong wire, I thought this one was going to be like that, but it's okay. You can spray it with hairspray, let it dry, and it'll be stiff as a board. I've done that many, many times. So, I'm going to go ahead and do those little coins and shamrocks, and then you will see the final product. And this is going to a customer, by the way, so it's not going to be here long. And here's your final product. If you look at it closely, you can see all of the different little embellishments, all the different ribbon textures and patterns, and the sign that coordinates with it all. I need to fluff it out a little bit more, but I think she'll be happy with it. Again, my tiny little business is PK's Possibilities, and if you ever need to get a hold of me, just call me or text me at 214-244-3302. And my name is Patty. Happy wreath making.